This is the final part to the Mirai Nikki recap, so if you haven't watched the previous parts, I will leave a playlist link in the description and comment section. With that said, let's get into the video. After a few days in the city hall, the mayor orders Yoshida's orphanage to be destroyed, as they have been accused of harboring the man who caused the tower explosion. Everyone feels it's too cruel, but the mayor is firm with his decision with a promise to provide a home to the orphans. The scene shifts to the Casualty Cathedral, where the owners insist Deus eliminate Yuno and Yuki because they haven't been attending the meeting for the past 5 days. And because Deus's death is near, the 11th diary owner wants to get rid of them. Deus agrees, and as he is about to eliminate them, just then, Yuki together with Yuno arrives. He reveals the 11th diary owner's identity, as their city's mayor, and it's absolutely correct. With this, Deus unhides everyone's identity. For the past 5 days, Yuki was in the lobby of City Hall, gathering all sorts of news, events, and data that were happening in their city. So the moment their city mayor passed the order to demolish Yoshida's orphanage, he immediately knew he was behind. After revealing this, Yuno and Yuki are planning to make an alliance with Yoshida and take on the mayor. According to Yuno, the mayor plans to get his hands on Yoshida's multiplier diary, so he can increase his force. Yuki is glad to know he is getting a step closer to becoming a god. Yuno suddenly jumps and grabs Yuki. She wants him to kill every diary owner, so he can become god and then bring back his parents. On the other side, Nishijima is in shock to know the 11th diary owner is the mayor, because from today, he is on bodyguard duty for him. After this, Nishijima reveals that Yuno's parents were Yujio Gasai and Saka Gasai. Both of them were from an elite banking family. However, they didn't have any children, meaning Yuno was adopted. On the other side, Yuno and Yuki convinced Yoshida to make an alliance, and now are planning to attack the mayor. Some of the Yoshida's children like Taro don't trust Yuki, but because they want to protect Yoshida, they are willing to cooperate. As per the plan, Yuki will use tear gas and target the mayor. Rin will use her diary to direct other subsidiary owners. And lastly, Taro will protect Yoshida. And using his copy diary, he will keep a watch on Yuki to see if there's no problem with the plan. As of now, everything is going to Yuno's plan. Rin, another subsidiary owner, gives a rice ball to Yuki. She first met him in the Omakata incident and knows Yuki is not a bad person. And just like him, she expresses that their mother isn't a bad person either. She didn't want to become god, but it was they who requested her to so she could save this world and make it better. After eating the rice ball, finally, it's time to initiate the plan. As the mayor is approaching, they stop his car and use smoke to block the view. Then the subsidiary owners begin attacking the guards. However, soon a device pops out from the car that jams all the subsidiaries' phones. And surprisingly, Yuki is shooting down every subsidiary owner one by one, while on the other side, Yuno brutally gets rid of Rin and Taro. Everything is according to Yuno's plan. Yuki apologizes. But he promises to save everyone when he becomes the god. Yoshida manages to escape, and gets in the mayor's car. Soon, Yuno and Yuki also get in the car and go after them. With this, they are planning to take down both 11th and 8th. But then, Yuno freaks out to know Aki has found out who the third body is. Yuno begins to worry. She destroyed every single evidence, but if this is true, she will definitely lose Yuki. But Yuki assures her no matter what, he will not let go of her this time. Yuno attacks the tire, but with the help of the mayor's diary, they are able to evade attacks. With no other choice, Yuki just pushes the car off the highway. Yuno points the gun at him, but the mayor is unsurprised, and soon Aki with Manii arrives. Aki gives a box to Yuki, and tells him to open it. Yuki opens it, and it's an umbilical cord of Yuno. It was found in the orphanage she was in, and after comparing the DNA of the third body with it, they turned out to be a perfect match. Meaning, that the real Yuno is already dead, and this one right here is a fake one. Yuki is in disbelief. Yuno begins to panic. She promises that all are lying, and that she is the real one. Yuki hugs Yuno, and promises he'll never doubt her. After they escape, the scene shifts to night. A meeting is called up to increase the protection for the mayor. Just after 30 minutes, Manii arrives at the location where the mayor is. It's a room which has the third most powerful supercomputer in Japan. The mayor wants Yoshida's multiplier diary, so that he can turn every resident of this city into a future diary owner. And this way, he'll give birth to a kingdom where people have the ability to predict the future. Manii had enough of this insanity. She throws a grenade at the mayor, but surprisingly he catches it, and throws it back. Nishijima sees the explosion, and informs other officers. Fortunately, Manii safely escapes. But soon, the police start searching for her. Wherever she escapes, the police are strangely able to arrive before her. Mirai starts wondering if the mayor also has a diary similar to Tsubaki's, which allows him to know about the future of those working for him. Before she is found out, Nishijima saves her, and gives a false report to the other officers. Mirai, with a suspicious tone, demands what are his intentions. Nishijima knows about the mayor's intention, and that's why he has decided to join her side. He takes out the ring, and proposes to her. Mirai isn't very familiar with what marriage is, so she has to think hard, and after realizing what it is, she quickly pulls away her hand, accusing him of being after her body, and wanting to make babies with her. Nishijima bluntly replies yes, it's indeed true. Mirai heavily blushes. She cannot take it anymore and walks away. She wants to destroy the computer before things become ugly. Nishijima stops her, and promises he'll make her happy. Mirai gets fed up, and promises she will if he destroys the computer. Nishijima agrees. Inside the building, Uoshida finally reveals her multiplier diary. The mayor uses it, and starts connecting it to the supercomputer. On the other side, Mirai begins infiltrating using the flashbang, but to her surprise, the security is well prepared because of the mayor's diary. Soon after, the connection is complete, but Nishijima comes running and throws the grenade inside the room. Afterwards, both of them manage to escape. But man still suspects if they are really successful, because if the mayor has a similar diary to Tsubaki, then he must have predicted Nishijima's action. She wonders if there is anything more to it. After fulfilling the promise, Nishijima hugs Mirai, saying she belongs to him now. As he tries to kiss her, Mirai also gives up on resisting, but just then, a radio message comes about informing multiple crimes happening throughout the city. It's because the computer that was destroyed was only a part of the whole supercomputer, and as a result, everyone in the city has a future diary. People now know about the future movement of stocks, about when they will die, and much more. In the cathedral, Deus is already at his limit, and decides to take some rest. He realizes Murmur is planning something behind his back. Before he loses his powers, he is planning to do something. In a building, Hinata and others join Mirai and Nishijima after Aki told them. Now they all have their own future diary. In Ko's diary, it mentions that two supercomputers named Holan are at the top of the quad towers, and they have to be destroyed at the same time. So for this, they all would have to work together. At first, Ko didn't want to help because of the things Mirai did to his school, but if saving the city is by helping a criminal, he is ready to go. The next day, they arrive at the quad tower, and split into two groups. The mayor is prepared, and orders the guards to finish every single one of them. But to his surprise, the diary predicted wrong. It's because Mirai finally realizes the mayor's diary's ability is to see into others' owners' diaries. That's why in the first place, he was aware of her, but when Nishijima took action, he wasn't able to stop him, so in order to fool him, Mirai only needs to feed him a lie by writing a false entry. And with it, Mirai with others are easily able to intrude. But the mayor has something up his sleeve. As Mirai and Nishijima are on the way, a bomb suddenly explodes, and soon after, Nishijima gets shot. As the guard continues to shoot, Nishijima blocks the bullets, and saves Mirai. Soon, Yuki comes and gets rid of the guards. With a smile, he apologizes for using Nishijima as bait. On the other side, Yuno is clearing the floors using a gun and a katana. After meeting up, as per the plan, Yuno goes to free Ko and others, while Yuki goes to get rid of the mayor. On the way, Mirai points the gun at Yuki, threatening to kill him if he fails to eliminate the mayor after he used Nishijima as bait. Yuki doesn't say anything and heads towards the mayor. Soon he finds him, but the mayor gets inside the vault of the bank which used to be owned by Gasai, meaning Yuno's parents. Mirai threatens the mayor's assistant, and he opens the door, but to their surprise, there is another one. And this can't be opened through a passcode or keycard. Seeing there is no way, Mirai points the gun at Yuki. Nishijima was the only man who ever said he'd make her happy, and now she'll kill Yuki and avenge his death. As Mirai shoots, Yuki dodges and escapes. Mirai finds it pathetic to see Yuki's sole motivation to become God is bringing back his parents. She emphasizes that literally half of the population has lost their loved ones, and unlike her, he is grateful to be even able to remember the good memories. She lost her parents before she could even speak, and amid those crumbled buildings, she had to rely on stealing to survive. While Mirai continues to speak, Yuki is in a tight position. He knows his death is certain, but even if he does something to change the future, the static noise will give away his position. While this is happening, the mayor is enjoying the show. He isn't afraid of anyone because the only way to open the second door is by using a retina scan. The only registered eyes are his, Yuno, and her parents, but because Yuno's parents are dead and she is a fake one, no one can open the second door. On the other side, after freeing up Ko and others, Yuno finds Uoshida, and tries to attack her, but Aki appears and blocks the attack. Just then, Yuno receives a new entry about Yuki's will. In it, he has written that after he is dead, he wants Yuno to bring back his parents when she becomes the god. On the other side, Manii hears the static noise, but it's only the cell phone. Just then, Yuki shoots the gun. He didn't kill Manii because it's possible he doesn't want to kill anyone. Manii quickly picks up the gun, and as she is about to shoot him, she sees an image of herself. Manii realizes Yuki is just like her, lost his parents, desperate for help, and no one to help him, but she is taken down, as Yuki pulls the trigger in self-defense. After this, he goes to the vault. The mayor shares how boring Manii's death was. Considering she was an international criminal, he was hoping for more. But to his surprise, Manii is still alive. She has a bomb that will detonate when her heartbeat stops, and in front of it, even the vault is nothing. She locks herself in between the doors, and tells Yuki to make everything right when he becomes a god. Before her death, Manii sees her parents, and her younger self thanking her for this decision. Manii breaks the phone, and the bomb explodes. However, there isn't even a scratch at the vault. Just then, Yuno comes and tells Yuki to destroy the whole lawn in the South Tower, while she keeps an eye on the mayor. Yuki agrees and leaves. Back in the vault, the mayor is fine with having only one whole lawn, but to his surprise, the vault door opens, and without any hesitation, Yuno just takes him down. On the other side, Yuki destroys the whole lawn, and is notified about the mayor's death. He wonders how she pulled it off. Now, with the mayor dead, the only diary owner remaining is Uoshida. And as per promise, Aki will hand over her to Yuki. In Aki's home, Aki earlier believed it was better to hand over Uoshida to Yuki as he is the best person to become the god, but after seeing Yuno was able to easily unlock the door, he is having second thoughts. Aki knows Yuki's sole motivation is to become a god to bring back his parents, but as for Yuno, it's a total mystery. Just then, a black sphere-like thing appears on the rooftop, and not just Aki's home, it's all over the city. The world has begun to crumble. On the other side, Murmur is confused as to how Deus is dying so soon. As per her, the world was supposed to end on July 28th. She suspects he did something behind her back. Just then, Uoshida with Aki enter the cathedral. Murmur becomes furious to see a non-diary owner, and tries to get rid of him, but Deus stops her. Aki asks if the person who becomes god will really have the power to reset everything. Deus replies that if he means by said is dead coming back to life, then no, it's not possible. Aki knew he was right. Without wasting any more time, he returns to the human world to tell Yuki about it. Uoshida has created a subsidiary diary for Aki. Yuki and Yuno are on the way to retrieve Uoshida, when Yuno suddenly asks Yuki if he will be able to kill Aki and others if they betray him. Yuki refuses to answer because he trusts Aki, but as they arrive, they soon notice Aki has betrayed them, and Uoshida with others are escaping. Yuno in anger stabs Aki. Yuki is in shock to read that Aki is dead. As Yuma approaches him, Aki is still alive. He was wearing a stab resistance vest, and afterwards, whatever Yuno tries to pull, Aki has a counter, and easily blocks her attacks. On the other side, Yuki is confused as to how despite what the diary is showing, Aki is still able to survive the attacks. He figures out that Aki also has a future diary, and warns Yuno to step back. Aki praises Yuki, and reveals his subsidiary diary allows him to foresee the actions of the diary owners. Seeing this will take time, Yuno tells Yuki to go after Uoshida, while she deals with Aki. Yuki agrees. On his way, he is in shock to see even Aki has betrayed him. Back in Aki's home, just like Aki planned, he is successfully able to stall Yuno, and now Hinata and others can tell Yuki about the truth. But surprisingly, Yuno just stabs herself. Now if she dies, Yuki will be notified about her death, and no matter what others say, he will not trust them. Aki is now in deep thought. On the other side, Yuki arrives. Hinata comes and tries to convince him how from the very beginning, he is being manipulated by Yuno. She tells him that even if he becomes a god, he can't bring back people to life. Hearing this, Yuki is in shock. He starts laughing, and accuses Hinata of lying because a god can do anything. But after Hinata tells him it's Deus himself who said it, Yuki starts to freak out, realizing he can't bring back people he has killed. Just then he receives a call. Aki on his way is trying to call Yuki, but he isn't picking up. It's because Yuno is on the line. She begs Yuki to save her, or else Aki will kill her. She warns him that all of his fake friends are planning to betray him. Yuki checks his phone, and confirms it's true. He points the gun at Hinata, and asks why they all are planning to betray him. Hinata tries to convince him that it's Yuno who is manipulating him, but Yuki pulls the trigger, and kills her. Afterwards, when Mai calls him a coward who can't accept reality, Yuki also takes her down, alongside Ko. As he passes their body, he promises to bring them back once he becomes the god. Aki finally arrives. On seeing the dead bodies, he regrets treating Yuno's wound, because of which she was able to mislead Yuki, and as a result, everyone died. He tells Yuki that from the very start, Yuno pretended to be his ally, so that later she would kill him and become a god. Just then, Yuno arrives. Suddenly, Aki kisses Yuki in front of her. As he goes to destroy her diary, Aki manages to destroy it, but strangely nothing happens, and Yuno ends up dealing a massive cut. On the verge of his death, Aki starts wondering how this is even possible. He knows the diary wasn't fake because at the last second, he saw the static appear on the screen, but just then he realizes, Yuno's diary always referred to Yuki by his first name, but the one he destroyed referred to him by Amano, which is his family name. On the other side, Yuki asked Yuno how she is alive despite her diary being destroyed. Yuno assures him it was a fake. Yuki doesn't give it much of a thought, and goes to eliminate Uoshida. Before her death, Uoshida requests Yuki to make a world where her children can live in peace. With her death, now it's only Yuno and Yuki remaining. On the other side, Aki is still barely alive. All this time, he believed the dead body found in Yuno's house was the real one, and the current one is a fake. But now thinking back to how Yuno was able to unlock the vault, he finally understands the truth. His vocal cords are destroyed, so he tries to show Yuki a written message. As Yuno sees Aki approaching, she immediately beheads him, but still, Yuki reads the message. In the cathedral, Deus is dead, and the core left behind is the last remaining power that is keeping the world intact until the 28th of July. Soon, Yuki and Yuno are notified about it. 3 days later, in Yuno's house, Yuki is much relaxed as he doesn't have to fear getting killed. By this time, he understands he can't bring back dead people, but the fact Aki warned him about Yuno killing him, and the message he left behind, is still bothering him. After dinner, as Yuki tries to go to his room, Yuno stops him. She starts crying, asking why he is not flirting with her. Yuno understands all she is good for his killing, but still after everything, she was hoping Yuki would fall in love with her, but even now, he is going to sleep in another room. Yuno feels pathetic, and goes to her room. Yuki can see how much she loves him, and just the thought of her killing him even after having enough opportunities seems unreal. Finally, it's the 27th of July, the day before the world is going to end. By now, Yuki feels bad for doubting Yuno, and now before the world ends, he wants to return her true feelings. For the first time, Yuki invites Yuno to have a bath together. Afterwards, they go into the room, and make love. After 2 minutes, now that they have become one, Yuki requests Yuno to tell him the reason she lied about everyone coming back to life if he becomes a god. Yuno suddenly takes out her axe. She apologizes for lying, but she did it so Yuki would start looking to become the god. And now that they have finally eliminated everyone, for the last thing, she wants him to kill her, but Yuki refuses. If becoming a god is by losing the person he loves, he doesn't want. Yuki is glad that they both can die peacefully, but he still wonders why Aki showed him that strange message. Yuno gets up, and asks about it. Yuki shares that Aki believed Yuno was from the future, and had already become a god. After that, she went back in time to come to this world, and took the place of this world's Yuno by killing he. Suddenly, Yuno grabs the axe and attacks. All she wanted was a day with them being happy, but now, in this world also, she will not be getting that. Yuno starts attacking. Yuki dodges the attacks and ends up in front of the hole. Just then, Murmur appears and pushes him into it. After that, Yuki sees the past when he and Yo had their first interaction. Murmur shares that by this time, Yuno had taken her revenge after she trapped them inside the cage and starved them to death. Yuno had no hopes for her future, until she met Yuki, who gave her the hope. After this, Murmur shows how the first world ended. Yuno's dream was to become Yuki's wife, but it never became a reality, because soon, the survival game started, and only one could have survived. After killing every diary owner, Yuno and Yuki choose to die together by taking poison. However, Yuno only pretended. She also believed by becoming a god, she would be able to bring back Yuki, but she soon realized it wasn't possible. After being in a state of shock to not be able to see Yuki, she used her god powers to go back in time to the second world, when Yuki was still alive. Without any hesitation, she got rid of second world Yuno because she didn't want to share the love. On seeing this, Yuki gets emotional to realize the girl who promised to become his bride is no more. He desperately tries to help her, but Murmur tells him it's pointless because these are only visions. Strangely, on the verge of death, Yuno hears Yuki's voice, and starts requesting him to help her. Murmur is in disbelief to witness this. She immediately cancels the illusion, and they return to the present. A few things Murmur didn't tell Yuki was that she is also from the first world, meaning, she is actually Yuno's servant. After Yuno came to this world and killed the second world Yuno, Murmur used her powers to erase a part of Yuno's memory. And the reason similar things didn't occur as it happened in the first world, was because Yuki opened the door in Yuno house, because of which the truth about the second world Yuno came out. Eventually, Yuno slowly started to regain her memories, after which she started making small changes, which ended up changing the whole timeline. Back in the present, Yuki confronts Yuno and asks the reason she is trying to kill him. For Yuno, she wanted to die at the hands of Yuki, and help him become the god. But when Yuki refused to kill her, and said he wanted to die together, Yuno couldn't accept it. If Yuki does not become god, then the whole universe will be destroyed. So to prevent the destruction, the deists from the past will not start the survival game, and choose a different method to select the next god. And because of this, Yuno and Yuki's relationship will not be closer, and she will end up staying only a stalker. That's why, if Yuki doesn't kill her, she will kill him and become the god. This way she will prevent the world from ending, and will go back in time to spend more days with that world's Yuki. She will do it infinitely. Hearing this, Yuki starts to freak out. Just then, Yuno uses her powers, and Yuki starts to fall. He realizes what a grave mistake he has made for his selfish reasons. As Yuki loses the grip and falls, Murmur is about to declare Yuno as the winner, but then a static noise comes, showing Yuki is still alive. Mirai makes a surprising entry, and comes to Yuki's rescue. At first, Murmur was surprised, but then she realizes it's Deus's doing. Murmur with Yuno uses time leap, and goes to the third world. Mirai and Yuki quickly follow them. They arrive there and end up crashing into a building. The reason Mirai is still alive, is that at the time when Mirai was about to disappear, Deus saved her, and brought her to the place where even Murmur couldn't come. Deus was quick to realize that Murmur was not his servant, but because he was almost at his end, he transferred a part of his power and knowledge to Mirai. As a person who has suffered the most, she was the rightful one to change the world for the good. Currently, they are in the third world, and 2 years into the past. Meaning, the survival game has another year to take place. Just then, Yuki receives an entry of Yuno coming here to kill this world's Yuno. There is still 2 hours, so Yuki wants to save this world's Yuno. In this world, Yuno is being abused by her mother. Tsubaki's parents are about to head out in their car, and the mayor presents the idea of a future diary to Deus. But just then, Deus is notified about an anomaly. After some time, Yuki and Mirai arrive at Yuno's home. Psyche is out, so it's only Yuno in the home. Yuki opens the door, and witnesses Yuno's terrible condition. Yuno is so starved that she is eating the wood from Tatama's mat, and choking on it. Yuki immediately calls an ambulance, and the future changes. Mirai is furious. They are here to stop Yuno and Murmur, but if they do anything else, it will change this world's future. Yuki knows it, but he just can't abandon Yuno. Just then, Yuno and Murmur arrive. Yuno has brought a sphere-like thing, in which she has caught Yuki's parents from this world. Mirai immediately takes off with both of them. Yuki sees his parents, and wants to save them, but Man is pissed, and tells him his parents are dead. They have already changed the future by freeing Yuno, and can't risk anymore. They can't bring back anyone from their world, so they have to save this world's future by eliminating Yuno. Back at Yuno's home, the ambulance arrives. But among them, Yujiro has also come. He received a call from the hospital, so he came here thinking his wife had done something again to Yuno. Yuno sees a glimpse of the past she suffered, and in anger, she stabs him and tries to get rid of others as well, but Murmur stops her. On the other side, Mirai has some job to do, so she drops Yuki at the school and goes away. Yuki while carrying Yuno heads to the class, where everything began. After putting her to safety, Yuno appears and immediately starts to attack. Yuki tries his best to avoid the attacks and goes further, so this world's Yuno isn't caught in the fight. Soon, Murmur starts using her powers to surround Yuki with spheres and make them explode. Yuki is barely able to dodge them. Yuno reads her diary, but she is confused as to what her true emotions are. While this is happening, Mirai calls Kei and tells him to treat his son's illness before it gets worse. Mirai broke her own rule to not change this world's future, but she wanted to keep the promise she made to Kei. Back in the school, Yuki has barely avoided death, but he is firm in his decision to convince Yuno to return to the second world. Yuno asks Yuki why is he getting in her way. Yuki replies that it's because he loves her. Because of these words, Yuno gets flustered and misses hitting Yuki. As Murmur tries to attack, Mirai arrives and starts fighting her. Thankfully, because of this, Yuki finally gets close to Yuno. He tries to convince her to leave this world, and in return, he will die. But Yuno laughs, saying she loves him, that's why she'll not return. She uses a sphere, and takes down Yuki. Using her powers, she traps Yuki inside a sphere, where Yuki finds himself with all the things he ever wanted. Yuno earlier wanted to kill Yuki and become the god, but she realized that she just couldn't, so now, she is trapping Yuki inside a sphere, and leaving him in this world for eternity. Then she will become the second world's god and will return to this world to take part in the survival game. This is the best way to achieve her dreams without killing the person she loves. Before Yuki could say anything, the sphere closes. At the police station, Saika has come to report her daughter gone missing, but just then, Kei is notified about the explosion happening at the school. Throughout the city, as the explosion becomes more frequent and louder, it starts to catch everyone's attention, including the diary owners. Back at the school, Mirai brings beaten-up Murmur, and is ready to fight Yuno. However, Yuno releases Murmur limit, and now her power is off the charts. With this, like a vicious monster, Murmur beats Mirai into a pulp, dealing a huge damage to her arm, and finally taking her down. While this is happening, Yuki has completely forgotten about everything and is living the life he hoped. After having breakfast, the family heads out to watch the stars in the mountains, but strangely, he feels like there is someone important to him that he has forgotten about. Outside with Yuki and Mirai being taken care of, Murmur heals Ushio. As Yuno is about to kill this world's Yuno, she notices she is mumbling about requesting her parents to help her. Yuno finds it pathetic to see how innocent she is. Yuno shares what her future going to be. Her mother's mental state will worsen, as her father will rarely visit home. Because of this, she would get more abused, and all the hope she had for a happy family will vanish. But one day, she would get a chance to drug them with sleeping pills, and then she'll shut them in the cage for revenge. After a month of starving, they'll die, and like always, she will be lonely. But the third world Yuno doesn't feel that way. She loves her parents, and knows one day they will understand her. Yuno realizes she also used to think the same, but wonders where things went wrong. Soon, the police and Saika arrive. On seeing her husband, she rushes to the roof. On the other side, Murmur is freaking out to see how rapidly the future is changing. Nishijima meets Mirai before they are supposed to. Tsunaki's parents were supposed to leave tonight, but because of the explosions, they didn't, and a bomb was found in their car, of which was planted by Funatsu. Because of this, Omakata, of which was going to turn into an evil cult, now retains its aim to help the weak. Hojo's parents, who were supposed to join Omakata, didn't, and stayed with Hojo. In the alleyway, the serial killer is caught by Hirasaka. In Hinata's house, Sakishima realizes how much his daughter cares for the dogs, and how she wants to learn to train them. In the orphanage, Uoshida receives a call from the mayor about funding her orphanage. It's because the future diary on which the mayor was working on, revealed to him about his death, of how the winner, instead of saving the world, will travel back in time. Because of this, Deus decided to change the way to select the next god, and now, Murmur is freaking out because at this rate, the survival game itself may never happen. Back inside the school, as Yuno tries to attack, just then, Yujio comes in between and takes the hit. Soon after, Saika also comes and is glad to find her daughter. Yuno is in disbelief to see her parents worrying for her. Just then, Kei comes and points the gun at Yuno. Back in the sphere, Yuki finally remembers about Yuno. He feels sad to leave his parents, but he decides to choose Yuno over his lost dream. Back outside, Yuno starts to see herself as a villain. She is glad for this world Yuno, but she loves Yuki, and for him, she must kill this world Yuno. As she rushes at her, Kei pulls the trigger. The second world Murmur stops the bullet, and Yuki breaks free and stops Yuno. While the second world Murmur takes care of the first world Murmur, Yuno is emotional to see Yuki choose her over his dream. Yuki tells Yuno she doesn't belong here. He requests her to kill him, so she can go back to being the god of the second world. Yuno raises the knife, and stabs herself. In the end, she just cannot kill the person she loves. Both of them share a kiss for the last time, and soon after, Yuno dies. With this, Murmur declares the winner is Yuki, and without disrupting this world anymore, they head to the second world. And soon, the world regains the balance. 2 years later, the third world Deus is still alive because he didn't start the survival game, which was supposed to have consumed a lot of his powers. So now, he has time to think about how to choose the next god. After receiving Deus's permission, Mirai is now settled in this world. She and Nishijima are married and have 2 adorable children. Thanks to Mirai, Kei's son is soon going to recover. Aki, along with others, enjoys taking care of Sakishima's dogs. Tsubaki's parents are alive, and she hasn't gone through any of the traumatic things. Hojo is having a great time with his parents. Uoshida and the mayor are a couple. Maru and Ahi are married and soon going to have a baby. And lastly, Yuno is close friends with Aki and others. After the school was destroyed, she transferred to a different school and hence, never had the chance to meet Yuki. But despite it, she feels like there is something precious to her that she has forgotten about. The scene shifts at night, when Yuno is talking with her imaginary friend about how she feels like some of her memories are missing. Suddenly, Yuno finds herself in the cathedral. Murmur is alerted about the infiltration, and goes to stop her from proceeding further. But just then, Mirai comes. She tells Yuno to go ahead to regain her memories, while she takes care of Murmur. Yuno starts running, and on the way, she starts to remember a boy who was very close to her. She enters a sphere-like room, and finds the first world Murmur, who is in captivity. On the other side, Deus comes and stops Murmur and Mirai's fight. The fact that Yuno traveled to this dimension is enough to prove it's her fate to meet the person she loves. All this time, Yuno's imaginary friend was First World Murmur. Before she was sealed, Murmur absorbed Yuno's core, which ended up transferring her memories to her. As a result, she started to sympathize with her, and was trying her best to communicate with the Third World Yuno. As the servant of First World's Yuno, Murmur requests Yuno to take all the memories of her master. They include happy memories as well as tragic and painful ones. Despite this, Yuno takes it, and remembers everything about Yuki. On the other side, it has been 10,000 years since Yuki became the god of space and time. He doesn't know what happened to the Third World after he left, but he hopes Yuno and others were able to live a peaceful life. He has the powers to create a new world, but doesn't want to because there would be no Yuno. All he has is his diary with the last entry in it. Just then, the future changes. Yuno breaks through dimensions with the help of Deus, and comes back to reunite with her Yuki. And that's where the video ends. Let me know your thoughts on this anime. And if you enjoyed watching this video, consider liking and subscribing for more like it. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you next time.